Alright, so this video is kind of going to be a few things. So I just left church, which is why I'm wearing my Hopetown shirt. And I was really inspired by today's message. So it's kind of going to be bouncing off of today's message, but it's also kind of going to be kind of my testimony, but also just like showing the power of God's love and a family. So I'm going to just kind of rewind all the way back to when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, I was a very argumentative kid. I wanted things my way, and that was it. And so me and my brother argued nonstop. And so that was really difficult for us. But we decided, around my junior year, we decided that we were both going to go to youth group. And in youth group, I had my group of friends and he had his group of friends, and it was fine. Everybody had their way. And so around the time that we joined, it was right before it was time to go, like right before summer. And I was asked if I would go to Caswell with them. And I was like, awesome. And for those of you who don't know what Caswell is, Fort Caswell is at the beach, and it's run by the Baptist ministry, I believe, and they have a camp in the middle of the summer where they have this really hyped Jesus music, and they do quiet time and Bible studies, and it's really awesome. And so I'd never heard of it at that point in time, and Justin hadn't really either. But we both agreed to go because we just wanted to go with our friends. At that time, we weren't really sure how much we loved Jesus, that kind of thing. And it was just an amazingly powerful thing. We were in their worship celebration where they had this amazing music. And I was sitting there, and it was a pretty loud room. There were I want to say maybe 200 people in there, so it was pretty loud. And they were dismissing, and people started leaving, and I just sat there, which, if you know me, that's kind of weird. I just sat there, and it was like everything in the room was silent. And I heard this amazing but loving voice tell me to get up and go hug him. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. It was like a comforting voice. And so I got up and I looked at Justin, and I hugged him and he hugged me, and we both just started crying. And what I didn't know, but I found out later on, was that God spoke to Justin as well as he spoke to me and told us to hug each other. And believe it or not, from that moment on, our relationship was fantastic and has been fantastic. I'm not going to speak for Justin, but I feel like Justin is one of my best friends, and I feel like I can call him, when I'm on the side of the road because my car broke down and I'm crying. Done that, been there, done that. Or when, I found out something exciting, or when I just want to know how he's doing, or if he's driving on a long road trip and he wants somebody to talk to. I feel like we are those kind of people for each other, which is an amazing relationship to have as a brother and sister, that we didn't have before at all. And so, that happened, and we didn't really realize that, that would be the setup for a lot of the kind of whirlwinds of things that were going to happen in our lives over the next few years. So that was between my junior and senior year of high school. Going into senior year, I had this amazing opportunity to go to London and Paris, and I had an amazing time. I got to see all these awesome things, all these art museums, these famous paintings, like the Mona Lisa. I went to Monet's garden. I got to do some pretty awesome stuff. And so when I got back, when I got off the plane, and at the airport, I saw my mom, She looked kind of upset, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on? So come to find out that my great grandmother, my mom's mom, was in the hospital. And my great grandmother, Nanny, this is so important to me. I have been told the entirety of my life that I am exactly like her, strong-willed. She always had her clothes matching. She had earrings to go with every outfit. She had shoes to go with every outfit. She was a painter. She wanted to travel the world to help, her painting and all this stuff. Like, she was an amazing woman. And when I got off the plane and I found out that she was in the hospital, of course I was distraught. So we went to the hospital, and I later found out that while I was gone, she would say out my name, like, Sarah, I'm waiting for you, kind of thing, which, really touched my heart. And I appreciated that so much. And I got to see her. I got to spend a few hours with her. But, I'd just gotten off a plane. I was exhausted. So I asked my mom if we could go home. So we went home, and about 45 minutes later, we got the phone call that Nanny had passed away. And this was the first, real loss that me and my brother had really seen. And it tore me up, to be honest. I just couldn't believe that it happened. But at this point, I was still going to youth group, and, I was like, well, it's in God's plan, but I was still upset. I was questioning it, but I was also like, I guess it's his plan, I guess. And I didn't really have a good hindsight of everything. And also, she was 98, so, yeah. Then more that was April, and I graduated in June, and during that summer, it seemed like the longest summer ever. 2 weeks before I left to go to college, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, which rocked my world. And I'm pretty sure I've said that before, but it did. I was upset, my mom was upset. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I couldn't even imagine a world where my mother wasn't in it. And so having cancer made me just when she found out she had it, I was so upset. And I mean, she was as well. And I had to leave to go to college, and so I wasn't really there, which killed me. And I felt at that point when I went off to college, I didn't know what I believed in. I questioned God. I didn't know why God would do this to me, why God would do this to my family. My mother didn't deserve that. My mom is a great person. She's an amazing teacher. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about her, unless it was me in my teenage years. But she's an awesome person. And to have that happen to her, I didn't understand why God would do that. And I also, my brother was there, when my mom was losing her hair, when Nanny was in the hospital. My brother was there. He's been there for everything. He's been at the house because he's younger than me. So positive news out of that, though. My mom has been in remission for 6 years. So go, Mom. But after that, a little while later, we found out that my great uncle, who is my mom's dad's brother, he was diagnosed with cancer, and then he later passed on. So that was difficult. And then soon after that, we found out that my grandpa was diagnosed with cancer. Now, for those of you who don't really know much about my family, my grandpa is my brother's best friend. Gonna be completely honest. My brother would climb a mountain just to see my grandpa. He would. And when he was diagnosed, Justin was, he didn't want to admit it, but he was a mess. And so that kind of made me question things some more. I didn't really know. I didn't know what to believe. I understand why God would do this, why God would put all this tragedy in my family's life, and why we were going through this. And so that happened, and I ended up, he's in remission as well, so go Grandpa. But I ended up graduating from college and became a teacher, and Justin graduated from Randolph Community College, and he has a job now too. But anyway, so I graduated, I became a teacher, and I moved away from home. I moved to Apex. And when I moved to Apex, we decided to start going, me and my roommate decided to start going to this church. Like, it took a while. We didn't go for a while, but eventually, we were like, we should maybe start going to church. Like, I was still questioning myself. I didn't know what I believed. And when I was in college, I had, like, looked into other religions because I didn't know what was right and what was, wrong. And we started going to this church, and I realized once again, like, God is so important, and God is, a big part of my life, and I can't do it alone. I need a group of people around me to help keep me accountable. And so that was amazing. I love, love, love the people I met at that church. They are fantastic people, and I don't know what I would do without them. And then we moved to Durham, and we decided to start going to another church, Newhope. And Newhope is unlike any church I've ever been to in my entire life. It is ginormous. They have like a full band. It's like going to a concert, and the message is fantastic. I love it. And they encourage you so much to serve in the church and in the community. And so within like a month of going to that church, I started serving in Hopetown, which is the children's ministry. And working at the children's ministry has been such a blessing. Like, not only, I feel like it holds me accountable, because not only do I feel like I need to go to church for my eternity, for me, for God, but I also feel like I need to go to church every Sunday, because those babies that I look after every single Sunday, they're waiting for me. They want to see my face. I want to see their face. They're so important to me, and it just makes me so unbelievably happy. And so through all of this, I have definitely found my love for God again, and found, how precious God is to me, and God's reckless love is just amazing. He will seek us out, and he will put us into situations where we deserve, or where he can reach out to us. So I've been going to Newhope since August of 2017. Then around January 2018, my family, everybody pretty much except for me, so my grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, brother, and Aunt Jane decided to go out to dinner for my grandpa's birthday. I couldn't go because of reasons I'm not going to discuss, but on the way home from that, Aunt Jane got into a car accident, and her injuries were very severe. And we spent the week in the hospital with her. Most people wouldn't really think of snow as a blessing, but honestly, I thought of it as a blessing because it meant I got to spend more days with her and not have to go to work. And so they told us that, her injuries, she would never walk again. She would never talk again. She probably wouldn't open her eyes. Well, 45 minutes after they had that conversation with us, she opened her eyes, and we were like, what? And then the next day she started talking, which was a miracle. And we had so many people praying for her. We reached out, I reached out to my friends, and my grandma did, and so did my mom, and all this stuff. We really wanted people to be praying for her. And eventually Aunt Jane did pass, which was really hard on my family. Aunt Jane is my grandpa's sister, so both of his siblings have passed at this point. And it's really difficult for us. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we've all shed a lot of tears over this, but I feel like it has shown us the power of prayer. You know, it has shown us how important our family is. I don't think my family has ever been closer in our entire lives. And I think that we cherish each other more. We realize how much God has had a hand in our lives, and that, you know, even though we've been through all that we've been through, we still take every day for what it's worth. We live our lives with this unprecedented happiness and just seeing the positive in things, and, you know, trying to make jokes out of things, trying to see the humor in life, because we realize that, you know, the days we have are precious and the people we have are precious, and you need to spend as much time as you can with these people. And so I feel like God put all of this in our path because he wanted us to see how precious we were to each other, how much we love each other, how much we love God as well. I have never felt stronger in my faith, in my family. I've never felt this loved in my life. And I think that that's impeccable. And it really just shows you that, like, God puts you through these things so that you can make it through. God puts you through these things to show you how strong you are. And in the moment, it might really suck. It'll probably suck. But God did it so that you can become the person that he wants you to be to enter his kingdom. And I think that's fantastic. He wants to show us different ways that we can be a better us. And he's showing us that we can make it through. We are strong. We can do this. And I think that that is so awesome, that God cares for us, his reckless love for us. I think it's amazing. If you've never listened to the song Reckless Love, I keep saying Reckless Love because we talked about it at church this morning, and I listened to the song on my way home from church, and it's such a good song. Just take a minute, you know, if you have some time, because it really speaks to my heart, and I hope that it'll speak to you. I just want you to know that you are very loved, you are very cared for, and I hope you have a blessed day.